Latest travel news, here's John.
The busy streets of Westminster. But there's one person that hasn't been spotted here for a while. The Prime Minister. Accused of going to ground since last Friday's disastrous mini-budget. We finally heard from her today, but not where you might expect.
Liz Truss, welcome to the Wake Up Call. Lydia says, are you ashamed of what you've done? Are you?
A round of pre-scheduled interviews on regional radio. Liz Truss in Downing Street faced questions from across the country, and it was a bumpy ride.
The pound has dropped to a record low. The IMF has said that you should reevaluate your policies.
A couple of people have said to me here in Nottingham, this is like a reverse Robin Hood.
Later, still in Downing Street, the Prime Minister finally spoke on camera.
It was the right decision to take, and we need to continue to make sure we deliver the economic growth, we deliver the jobs and opportunities, and that is the long-term future that we have set out.
The new Prime Minister, just 3 weeks into the job, has already come close to an economic crisis. Now she faces a political one. With her first Conservative conference as leader just days away, many of her colleagues have said they're not going. An early sign of deep disunity and division that has left her and her Chancellor, Kwasi Kwarteng, pleading with their party, stick together or risk losing power. In a letter to Tory MPs, the Chancellor wrote, "Colleagues, I understand your concern. We are one team and need to remain focused. The only people who will win if we divide is the Labour Party." And his concerns were quickly confirmed by an extraordinary new poll, putting Labour 33 points ahead of the Conservatives, their biggest lead since the 1990s, on course for a Blair-like landslide. And there are more tricky moments ahead for the Chancellor because his tax cuts will require him to make big savings elsewhere. Today, he also faced his critics, but wouldn't say where those cuts will fall.
It's premature for me to come to a decision on that, but that we are absolutely focused on making sure that the most vulnerable in our society are protected through what could be a challenging time.
Union bosses were unconvinced and preparing for a fight.
What we really need to see is the government changing its mind about those tax cuts. The Prime Minister should sit down with public sector unions. Let's set out a course for revitalising our public services to get the funding that we need to make sure those services can deliver for millions of people up and down the country.
Also feeling confrontational, the Bank of England, who dismissed the government's claims that recent economic turmoil was caused by global factors, with their chief economist saying there is undoubtedly a UK-specific component. Another blow for a government whose pursuit of growth is starting to look like it could cost them big. Liz Bates, Sky News, Westminster.